Hello and welcome to race 2 here of round 4 of the Rei Sportscar Championship here at Blue Moon Bay. So we had race 1 earlier on here in Division 1, and let's go through the same grid. So just a reminder here that Scannyflick is on pole here for America Week, with second place being Brothers V in his white, blue and red America themed livery. In third place is Boogity here, with fourth place being the police car of Ross 21. In fifth place here, we'll check him out later, is Mr. Mickey and Mako, with seventh place being Charlie Fraser. And then rounding out the field in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th is Tyranny Snake 96, Samios, Yes Mate GT, and then at the back of the field is 10th place Sig Rezanico, who is joining us for race 2 and race 3 in his healthcare sponsored livery. So in race 1 we had so much bump drafting, so much strategy and so much to think about for the 10 drivers here today. And as they get away here at Blue Moon Bay, Boogity, they pull away here in single file going into turn 1. They're all trying to get close to this barrier as to give themselves the best run through the opening turn. You can see that Ali, it looked like Boogity there in third, was probably the closest to the barrier, just a little bit further back, and just checking to see if any gap has formed. And Samios has had a bit of poor run through turn 1, it seems, and a gap has formed there between 7th and 8th place, Snake and Samios. Let's just go on board, and you can see that's a big gap, so let's just catch a replay of that. And as you go through turn 1, yeah, it was a bit too tight on the entry, losing speed in 4th gear, and that could create that second pack right now. Just further up front, and Brothers V, who started in second, has the slipstream from Scannyflick, of course, who started on pole position. Are they going to work together? Yeah, we can see that Brothers V is lifting off, and we'll just focus on that rear bumper of Scannyflick as they go through turn 3. There's a Matko is being followed by Charlie Fraser for now, with Snake not too far behind. But there's already a gap formed. Here is Snake, and well, can't get a good camera view, but Yes Mate here is way behind, and he's fighting with Samios, so they need to really work together quickly to be able to catch this back up. And Boogity on the inside of Brothers V here early on at the start of lap 2. You can see Yes Mate and Samios actually fighting at the exit turn 1. That is going to cost them any chance of battling it out in this top group. Ross very close to the back of Brothers V, as these 4 cars are working perfectly to bump draft and actually maybe create a little breakaway group from the likes of Matko, Charlie Fraser and Snake, because Matko is now potentially on his own. But oh, they battle now here in turn 3 as Boogity takes the lead here at Blue Moon Bay Speedway, the NASCAR legend. And we've now got 2 groups of 2, which means that Matko will surely close back in. It might be too late, however, for Charlie Fraser and Snake. We'll see if they can work together well in these next few laps to regain this second that they've lost. Yeah, Scannyflick in second, just ahead of Brothers V. And then we've got Ross, who's actually gone on the inside and might just fall out of line, but he sneaks back in here out of turn 1 here at this tri-oval. So Mako now looking towards the outside here in this group of 5, and then here you can see 6th and 6th place are currently on their outside. But I think if Charlie and Snake can work together well and overtake at the correct times, they can close in. Meanwhile, Ross almost on the inside of Brothers V. You can see the stars and stripes on the front of his car. Meanwhile, Ross in the police car is now actually leading the way in a line on the inside, but Matko actually pulling out of the bump drafting section. Now we go 3 wide into turn 1 on lap 4 here, and it's Boogity who takes the lead, continues to take the lead with Scannyflick on the outside, but he has to slot in sadly for him. With that battling into turn 1, you can see that Tyranny Snake and Charlie Fraser 6th and 7th are closing in. But Sig, Yes Mate and Samios in 8th, 9th and 10th are 5 seconds back already. Sig Rezanico, a 4-time Rei Sportscar Championship, will not be happy here being in the second pack, and it's going to be a lot of work for these 3 to do to catch up, especially with them being as spread out as they are now. Meanwhile, up front you can see that it's not spread out at all. As actually you've got Mako there on the outside, very, very high through turn 3, but getting a very nice push there from Charlie Fraser, and the 6 of them are all in single file until Scannyflick pulls out to the inside and takes the lead. But can he make it stick in turn 1? Yes, he can. He gets a clear overlap from Boogity. Bradley trying to push him along, and will Bradley be able to push onto the inside? No, Bradley now left out, stuck to the inside. It's almost 3 wide, but Scannyflick pushed to the inside because Boogity got a fantastic run on the outside there through turn 1 to retake the lead. Boogity led quite a bit of the first of these 3 sprint races here for America Week, but it wasn't to be, as the last lap just proved to be his downfall as he ends up finishing second in the first race. Meanwhile, the person who did win the first race, Bradley, around the outside of Scannyflick, and will now push Boogity, the championship leader, surely, with Ross not too far behind. However, Scannyflick tries to slot in line, but that bit too late there from the British driver, meaning that now we've got this 6-car line and Scannyflick just on his own on the inside. And contact between Ross and Scanny, that sent Ross down to the back of this pack, and he will surely go into 7th place. No, he slots in 6th, just ahead of Charlie Fraser. Now, in race 1, it was Charlie and Snake who were not a part of this pack, so maybe they need to spend a few laps just looking at what other drivers are doing and learning, because the others have had an extra race to learn. You can see that Brothers still not trying to make a move on Boogity, just trying to push the Italian further. Just a quick look further back, and Sigras and Nico in the healthcare car is not really getting as much of a push you would want from Yes Mate and Samuel, so maybe they need to improve a little bit in turn 1. But back up front, and Scanny is making the move. It was Brothers V and Paquito trying to work together, but Scanny throwing a mix into the works, and actually that has caused tension there between the top 2 because they've fallen out the line. But they're back in the line. Matko and Snake and Ross and Charlie all on the outside lane. Scanny on his own there with the Penguin stuck on the inside, but he slots in just behind Matko because Snake unable to make a move. No, Snake actually getting enough speed there from the slipstream out of turn 1 to completely go ahead, and that might drop Scanny all the way down to 6th, just ahead of Charlie Fraser there. So yeah, this race is very much about strategy, when to make a move, who you're going to work with, and you do not want to be left alone on the inside or the high side. And we've got Matko on his own, but will he get a push from Ross? Ross has a choice to make. He chooses the outside, and that might leave Matko out for Cole, but Braddersby actually helping Matko out quite a lot there by moving to the left. There's no need for him to do that, but he helps Matko out, and we might see those two battling it out and working together to fight the 2 Italians there of Snake and Paquito. But Matko going against that and now going to the outside means this is now Ross to take up the reins and follow Braddersby here, not on the outside lane. So we've got the 2 Italians here, bumper to bumper. And Scanny actually making it 3 wide in the inside. He seems to get fantastic runs through that final turn. Ross and Brothers on the inside. But I think it will be the Italians who win out as Snake gets a fantastic run on the high side. But he hits the rev limiter heavily in 4th gear. Takes him ages to get to 5th gear, but actually that worked out like a treat. Meanwhile, Matko, who went out of the slipstream of Brothers V, has now overtaken him through turn 1. So that is a strategic masterclass. And now he's going on the inside, and Snake not giving much room. There is a bit of barging, but Matko moving into 2nd place now and will work with Boogity just like they tried in race 1. That is unless Paquito wants to work with his Italian counterpart, and I think that is going to be the case because Matko stuck on the inside unless Brothers V wants to work with him. We've got a choice here, and Brothers V, no, they all slot into line. Matko dropping down to 3rd after the overtake at turn 2. We can see Scanny yet again on the inside. Meanwhile, Charlie Fraser has been examining this for quite a while from the back of this pack. Let's just go on board with Charlie Fraser. He stays in 4th gear through turn 1 and then accelerates very, very late into 5th gear. Behind It's hard to see, but we do have Yes Mate Sig and Sammy battling out for 8th. But yeah, they're probably a bit too far behind to catch this pack up. The fastest of the race so far. There are no bonus points for it, but it is hosted by Charlie Fraser with a 52.2 as he powers through turn 3. Now, as long as Charlie and Scani can work together, they can maybe make a move, but let's go back up front. Because we've got Matko and I think Bradders is that behind. Yes, it is, fighting with the 2 Italians into turn 1. Oh, and Paquito now being pushed by Bradders V, because Paquito went to the inside and there's big contact into turn 1. And that sent Paquito onto the high side, but he will stay in the lead for now. Matko falls into line. Snake has been left on the outside. Meanwhile, Ross has somehow jumped into 3rd, just ahead of Bradders V, who probably been the main loser in that, dropping down to 6th after fighting for 2nd place. In 7th place is Charlie Fraser, who's now struggling to keep with the pack. But I'm sure if he just keeps a steady head and can get a good run through turn 1 consistently, he has a fantastic chance of winning, just like all of the others. There is no clear favourite right now. It's too wide here at the oval going into turn 1, as the Italians have now split and Snake is on the inside, going into the 2nd lane as Paquito's forced really high, but that's not too much of a problem for him as he gets a fantastic run. Oh, and Snake just about slots in. Matko therefore forced on the outside, but Paquito helping out the Hungarian who helped him out therefore in the 1st race. Snake dropping into 3rd, and then Scani Flick, Ross, Bradley and Charlie Fraser still in 7th there at the back. There are 20 points on offer for a race win in the sprint races, down to 1 point for 10th place. And this is a very spread out field here through the final turn as Matko and Paquito continue to work together on the high side, but no, Matko almost traitoring, but no, he just about stays on the outside. Meanwhile, look at this train that we have here on the inside. Oh, but it's split off into 3 trains, maybe even 4 wide into turn 1. And Ross has taken the lead. Fantastic stuff there from the Irish driver, as he goes from 5th to 1st it seems, and it's now Ross and Paquito on the high side, and it's Scani yet again stuck on the inside, and I think he might struggle to fall in line. He does, however, just ahead of Charlie, who's now moved up ahead of Matko, who's been the real loser in these last 3 laps. Just a very quick look at the rest of our field, as we've got Yes Mate on the inside of Sig, as they're trying their best to work together, but overtaking in turn 2, maybe not the best way to do that, but I think it's too late for them. Meanwhile, back up front, we do have Ross crossing the line, the leader, at the end of turn 13, surely with Paquito pushing him along, but Snake and Scani have a fantastic run onto the checkered flag. But Snake has been left alone as Scani decides to fall in line. That is not going to please him. But it will please Scani as he tries to go on the high side for turn 1, being pushed now by Bradders V, and there's big contact between Snake and Scani as he wanted to go to the outside, and he's almost forcing Bradders into the wall, but he just about slots into 5th ahead of Charlie Fraser back up front, and it's Scani Flicker now on the inside. He really likes working alone here at Blue Moon Bay, but he will now get a slight push from Bradders V as the 2 Brits will push each other along through turn 3. Meanwhile, further back, Matko has somehow lost heavily in the last few laps. He's just dropped back as the others have worked together. That's very unfortunate for him, because he was one of the few who was really focusing on the strategy and the long game. Oh, that is fantastic to see, as we see 2 blind, both are free drivers working together. On the inside, it is Scani leading the way into turn 1, as Scani and Brad has actually separated that time out. Scani getting the better run it seems, but they're still side by side, and now it is going to be Snake who will actually push Bradders. But it is Ross and Scani who are pushing away, but Scani actually going towards the inside of the track, which is going to help out Bradders and leave Ross and Paquito out to dry there on the high side. You can see Paquito very high as they're 3 wide going through turn 2. Matko has managed to get back into play, so great stuff from the Hungarian is he is now pushing Snake here for the podium positions. Paquito very high. Look how high he is there. As the 3 wide and big contact with Ross and Matko, but with a little bit of a wiggle, they all make it safe. And we can still see Charlie Fraser playing the long game as he pushes fantastically towards Matko. And let's just catch a little run ahead Scani is now leading, but not the best run through turn 1, but Bradders, Snake, Paquito, Mako, Ross and Charlie will follow them all in single file. But who is that? Is that Bradders going for the move? It is. Bradders got the better run out of turn 1, but will anyone try to help him? Paquito helps him. Oh, that was almost awful. But Paquito helping Bradders out there by just giving me a slight nudge through turn 2, as Paquito's on a very, very quick lap thanks to that slipstream between turn 1 and turn 2. Scani drops to 3rd, Snake to 4th, Matko and Ross 5th and 6th, and Charlie still at the back, waiting for his moment to pounce. And it is Marco now going to the inside of Bradders V. Just to let you know, Marco is Paquito. Big contact. Has he given him room? Oh, maybe not enough room given. There was contact, and it's now Matko who will push Bradders V into Trainer Snake 96, who just about slots into that little gap there with the 2 Italians, then the 2 Brits, and then we have a European masterclass with the Hungarian, the Irish and the British drivers 5th, 6th and 7th. As we go on board here with Scaniflick, we can see Charlie Fraser trying to make a move here on Ross, and Scaniflick going to the inside of Bradders V, but that's not going to work as he was actually trying to slipstream Paquito for the lead. Bradders V just about slots ahead of Snake 96, big contact with Matko, and that's going to be a major problem for him. He might slot in between Ross and Charlie, but he's got to be careful about this. Oh, that would have been a risky attempt there for the lead. And you can see, yeah, Matko did slot into 5th there with Charlie and Ross battling for 6th. You can see Bradders really pushing Paquito through turn 3. The Mazda Roadster here actually quite stable, even when being pushed in corners, and Bradders going for the move, but that might be fruitless unless he can get help from Scani. Scani going behind, and yeah, that's good stuff from Scani there, working with Bradders V, and they will move into 1st and 3rd, but will Scani maybe make any more progress? Will Bradders V hold on? I think Bradders V will hold on. He just about cuts Marco. No, he does not. So, oh, he just about does now. Meanwhile, Scani might drop down the order after some fantastic help from him there through into turn 1. Just a very quick look further back, just a reminder, we've got no real chance of Pack 2 closing up, but Sammy in 8th, Sig in 9th, and Yes Mate with the 1 solitary point in 10th. But back up front is Bradders V leading, which is, I think, the most he's actually led a single race so far. He did win race 1, but only with overtaking with about 15 seconds to go. With the 2 Italians behind, and Bradders V weave to the left, gets a run from Scani and Paquito, but Scani now on the inside. No, he stays in that 3-car train, but it's Paquito with a strategic masterclass there with a fantastic run into turn 1. Can Bradders hold the high line? Yes, he can, so Bradders will get the push from Trainer Snake. And they move into 1st and 2nd, so not the best option there for Paquito to try and make that move into turn 1. Meanwhile, Charlie Fraser at the back of this field, still taking it easy. Still waiting for his move. There are just 3 laps to go here though at Blue Moon Bay. Trainer Snake going for the very high line, will hope to get a good run and maybe challenge going into the opening turn, maybe with some help from Matko and Charlie Fraser as they're pushing each other along across the brickyard. But no, it's Charlie Fraser who has to slot in line there. He's been left out to dry from Matko, and you can see it is side by side into turn 1 as the 2 Italians are costing each other time. This is absolutely a fantastic racing from all 70 of the drivers. It's been relatively clean, and considering that we don't usually see these Master Roasters racing on an oval, I think this has been some of the most entertaining racing ever in the Rei Sportscar Championship. So it's Snake and Brothers V pushing, but Brothers V actually going to the outside, and we'll get a push here from Mr. Mickey and Mako. And Snake going very wide and has to slot in line, and Mako now at the front of the train, but Brothers V moving into the train for Mako. Great teamwork there between those two. So it's the two Italians versus the Brit and the Hungarian. Meanwhile, Scani, Ross and Charlie yet to form too much of a group. It might be too late for Charlie there in 7th to make too much progress, but anything can happen in these oval races. As they go 2 by 2 for the final corner, and Mako runs wide. Mako runs very wide. It's Ross who now has to push Brothers, and the two Italians are out in front as we approach lap 23 of 23. 20 minutes into this race. Oh, what was that there? There was some side-by-side barging. Just looking for the correct lane. Two Italians have now swapped, and we got one Italian on the outside there. Snake, Paquito in the green, white and red car is now moving back up to the high line in front of Snake. It's Brothers V being pushed by Ross. And there is contact as Snake really wanted to get into the line, but Snake is being ruined here by his Italian counterpart as Ali Brothers V getting the majority of the slipstream from him, and he's getting a fantastic push from Ross. Ross 21 doing a fantastic job of allowing Brothers V to catch up, and we'll just go on board with him for now. And Brothers V to the inside of Paquito at turn 2 yet again. That happened in race 1, happens in race 2 again. There's big contact, and are we going to have the big one? We do. We've got cars in the wall. We've got Paquito, our championship leader, who's just gone from 1st to 6th. He's on to 1st. There's a massive crash with Charlie Fraser. Paquito in the wall, and Brothers V is going to take the line. What has happened there? Mako 2nd, Scani 3rd, Ross 4th, Snake 5th, Paquito 6th. We'll have to catch a replay of that. You can see Brothers V went to the inside, took the lead, and then we've had Ross on the inside. There's big contact, 4 wide. We've got Paquito in the wall, and then at the exit of the turn, you can just see contact between Charlie Fraser and Marco, which has sent Marco almost into the pit lane. Let's just go on board with, I think, Charlie Fraser, who might watch all of this unravel. So you can see it's 4 wide, and as they all make Snake ends in the wall, Paquito in the wall, and then you can see there, this is where the rest of the contact happens. Let's go on board with Snake 96 as we watch the big one unfold, which allowed Matko to go into 2nd place. Matko there, you can see Matko was kind of in the middle of the track and managed to get to 2nd. Snake then moves into 5th as those two cars go towards the pit lane. But fantastic 2nd win there for Brothers V. Meanwhile, in 7th, in 8th, 9th and 10th is going to be Sig, Samios and Yes Mate. We hope you've enjoyed this Rei Sportscar Championship event.